Imposter syndrome. You know that nagging feeling that you're a total fraud? It's surprisingly common. But here's a thought. What if it isn't some permanent flaw in who you are? What if it's just a mental habit, one that you can actually change? Well, that's exactly what we're going to explore today. We've got this really powerful metaphor that might just flip the script on this whole experience for you. So let's get into it.
Yeah? Does that question hit a little too close to home? That fear, right? The fear of being exposed. That's really the heart of what we're talking about today. And listen, it can feel so isolating, but I promise you, you are definitely not alone in feeling this.
This just captures the frustration so perfectly, doesn't it? No matter what I achieve, I feel like I don't belong. It's that feeling where, you've got all this external success, all these achievements, but the feeling on the inside just doesn't match. It's that classic, crazy-making disconnect between your actual reality and how you see yourself.
Okay, so to really get our heads around this, let's do something interesting. We're going to step inside a real coaching conversation and see how this feeling of being a fraud actually shows up in the real world. So picture this. The client is sitting in a leadership meeting, and the trigger? It's not some huge mistake. It's just seeing how confident everyone else seems to be. And it's not just a thought, right? It becomes this whole physical experience. Their chest gets tight, their breath gets shallow, and it's all being driven by this one single powerful thought. I'm not as competent as they think I am.
Now, the coach's approach here is really key. The goal isn't to jump in with advice or say, no, you're wrong. The whole point is to create a space where the client can actually find their own answers.
So they start by getting on the same page. What's the goal here? Well, the client wants two things. First, just clarity, like what is even happening here? And second, they need a practical way to stop that downward spiral of thoughts. The main focus? Finding a way to stay emotionally steady when that fraud feeling hits.
Okay, and this is where things get really cool. The coach introduces a metaphor that just completely reframes the entire problem. They call it the cached thought. So what on earth is cognitive caching? Well, think of it like this. You know how your computer saves files you use all the time so it can pull them up super fast? Your brain does the exact same thing with thoughts. It's a mental shortcut. It's designed to be efficient, and a lot of the time, it's actually designed to protect you. So the natural next question is, where did this specific thought file come from? Together, they trace it back to early in the client's career. Turns out they were promoted really quickly and felt completely unprepared. So that thought, I'm not competent, it wasn't random. It was created and saved for a very specific reason, to try and protect them from the pain of failing or being embarrassed or being exposed. And this right here, this is the first huge shift in perspective. The coach points out, hey, so this thought, it wasn't actually trying to harm you. It was trying to keep you safe. That inner critic wasn't some evil voice. It was basically a primitive but totally well-intentioned little security guard trying to protect a younger version of themselves.
Okay, so once you start seeing the thought not as a monster, but as an old, outdated security guard, well, the next question is pretty obvious, right? Is this information, is this data still true today?
And here it is. This is the big turning point, laid out so clearly. On one side, you have that old, dusty, cached thought, I'm not as competent as they think. But on the other side, you have the current data. We're talking actual results, real feedback from people, the simple fact that they're still in the job and doing well. When you put them side by side like that, wow, the disconnect is just obvious.
And that's the aha moment right there. The client just says it. Cached. Definitely cached. It's that crystal clear realization that the thought isn't a reflection of today's reality. It's just old data.
So what do you do with an outdated piece of software or an old file? You don't argue with it, you don't fight it, you just update it. And that's exactly the next step. It's all about installing a new, more accurate thought.
And notice this is so important. The client comes up with this update themselves. It's not some cheesy generic affirmation. It's balanced, it's nuanced, and it feels true to them. It says, hey, I'm still learning, but it also says, and I'm capable enough to be here. It acknowledges the growth and validates their place. The proof it's the right one, it just feels calmer.
From there, they create this simple, super practical, 3-step action plan. Step 1, just notice when that old cache thought gets activated. Step 2, name it. Literally say to yourself, this is old data, not today's truth. And step 3,
consciously choose to run the new program. Choose the updated thought.
So the coach asks, okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, how confident do you feel that you can actually use this new tool? And the answer is a solid 8 out of 10. I mean, that's a fantastic start.
But a great coach doesn't stop there. They ask this brilliant question: what would move it to a 9? And this isn't about pressure, you know? It's about helping the client dig a little deeper and make their own plan even stronger.
And the client finds the answer within themselves. It's proactive practice. Basically, instead of just waiting for the feeling to ambush them, they decide they're going to intentionally run that updated thought before meetings. It's like building up that new mental muscle ahead of time.
So what's the big, powerful takeaway from all of this?
The whole process is about shifting how we see imposter syndrome, moving it away from being some deep, personal failing to something that's actually, manageable.
And the client's own insight at the end of the session just says it all perfectly. Imposter syndrome isn't a flaw, it's a mental habit. And habits can be updated. It's not some unchangeable part of you, it's just a habit your brain picked up along the way.
And really, that is the core idea we're leaving you with. Imposter syndrome is just a thought pattern, a mental shortcut that has long outlived its usefulness. And the best part? Because it's a habit, it means it can be seen, it can be understood, and most importantly, it can be consciously updated.
So I'll leave you with this to think about. We all have these old cached thoughts running on autopilot in the background. So the question for you is, what cached thought of yours is running on old data and is maybe, just maybe, ready for a much-needed update?